last time, I think the second time we've ever spoken, the second space you joined, we were talking about the US Twitter files. And then
Yeah.
here we are about a year later with Brazilian Twitter files. Have you had a chance to go through the drop yet?
Well, it's voluminous. We're trying to figure out how to it's a treacherous path here. You know, the we're trying to do this in such a way that does not endanger the ex-employees in Brazil, because they have been threatened with arrest. So it's we don't want to put them in danger. So we're trying to figure out a way to just make sure they're safe before we do anything. But I think there are some pretty serious concerns here, because really the people that were elected, the Senate and Parliament, really should have a lot more authority than they do. Like the things don't work the way in Brazil. They don't work the way they work in say the U.S. So our concern at X is that like we're being asked to do things that are illegal by the judiciary, which seems very like bizarre. So that's somewhat of a quandary, being asked to do things that directly violate the law by a judge. Seems odd.
You've had, we do have Senator Eduardo on stage. We do have Representative Nikolas on stage as well, and Deputy Luis. And there's been many other vocal voices in Brazil that are supporting your fight against the censorship you have there. So just to be clear on the line drawn, I know you made a tweet clarifying this. Essentially, what differentiates Brazil from other forms of censorship you face is there, and how you determine when to fight, a government or any three-letter agency. When it comes to censorship, is when their request breaks the law, and this is a difference, the clear
Correct.
difference that you have in Brazil.
Yeah. We're being asked to suspend accounts and filter content, that and also to not say anything about it. So to pretend that the suspension and the content blocking, like regional blocking, is due to our terms of service, when in fact it is not. It is an order from, Judge Alexander.
Nicolas, you do have, you've been very vocal in supporting Elon's fight against censorship. You've got Elon on stage now. I want to give you the mic first, Nicolas, Representative Ferreira, to ask Elon any questions and kind of give your thoughts on Elon's fight against censorship.
Okay, thanks. First of all, I'd like to thank Elon Musk for the opportunity to fight for my country, for his courage. Thank you so much. You don't even know how much it means for us. And I believe everyone wants to hear you. And I would like to ask you a question. How do Twitter files came out? Because there's a confusion among people that Twitter files only appeared because of Alexandre de Moraes, which is not true. It starts after the presidential elections in the Biden government when you unleash the files of Twitter. Can you
Yeah.
explain that for us, please?
Well, I'm not sure I fully understand the question, but there has been a lot of government intervention in Twitter, and like basically government spying and censorship in the U.S. and elsewhere, and nobody even knew about it. So when I acquired the company, I'm like, okay, we're just gonna just.
One of the people that are the most prominent victims of that level of censorship. And Elon, we were talking about it earlier. Thanks for joining again, Elon. It's good for you to jump in for the third time. But the thing, Elon, we were talking about earlier is
not only censorship of journalists, but they're taking it a step further where it's becoming a prosecution. And we had the senator and the representative talk about it on stage, and I tweeted about it. And that's journalists' bank accounts being frozen. Alan, I'd love you to share that with Elon, get Elon's thoughts on it, to kind of show the
Go
level
ahead.
of censorship. Alan, no, the mic is yours. Can you tell Elon what level of censorship you journalists are facing in Brazil?
Sure, definitely. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to have a account on Twitter, on X right now, because I was facing a very strong fight during 3.5 years without seeing my family. My company, Terça Livre, needed to move to United States to keep doing journalism. It's a small business that I started for independent journalism in Brazil. And after the Moraes decision that I have no idea what he's kind of accusing me of, he froze my assets. He ordered my arrest in the United States, in Brazil, asked the United States to deportate me or destroy my life. And I couldn't make account on every platform in Brazil. Even I am living in the United States right now by the protection of the United States Constitution, thank God, because he was doing daily fines for every platform that I was creating account. Even OnlyFans, I was banned. So I was banned from Getter, from OnlyFans. By the way, I was using OnlyFans for doing journalism. And Facebook, Instagram, and yeah, for your knowledge. Yeah, yeah, I know. So the persecution was so strong that I wasn't able, Elon, to feed my family. My daughter is facing recovering from meningitis and encephalite, and I couldn't send money to my family, my daughter, because he froze my assets, and he was doing daily fine against the platform because I was creating accounts. So that was a crime, creating accounts, and because I gave you money, Elon, because I bought the yellow the yellow badge for my company. And today, the press in Brazil was saying that I was being helped by you just because I've got the yellow badge for my company. So this is how crazy it is.
Yeah, it is actually very crazy. I mean, I think there's no question that there's an abuse of judicial power here to an extreme degree. I just have to. That is, I think it is extremely obvious. I think I mean, the people of Brazil ought to know that there is an abuse of judicial power to an extreme degree that we've not seen in any country on earth. I have never seen anything of this magnitude. So it's insane. And the elected representatives of the people of Brazil, that's who should be in charge. And the judiciary is there to execute upon the law, but not to make the law. But they are making the law, and I think it's an outrage. People should be extremely upset. So, like, this has got to stop. So,
Elon, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and jump in and ask you a question here. I know there have been reports today. I don't know how true they are yet because this story has been so rapidly developing that it's hard to get confirmations on everything. But are you in further communication with Brazilian officials at this point? Have they mentioned an all-out ban on X anytime soon? And do you foresee that being a real possibility?
they have threatened to cut off X entirely from Brazil. They've also threatened to arrest our employees, and they have applied a $20,000 a day fine.
And do you foresee them actually following through with any of that stuff? Because, it seemed in the beginning that this Supreme Court justice was going to rapidly pursue these things.
I mean, I don't know. This is just what the threats that have been made. I don't know if these threats will come to pass or not. But judging by what has happened to others, I think these threats are real. So, it's like, I don't know. I think this is like really judicial authority going far beyond judicial authority to executive authority. So that's I just think it's just totally, absolutely improper. I mean, the law is violating the law. It's crazy. So I think Nicholas wants to speak.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
All right.
I can hear you. Yep.
Elon, just to let you know, after starting to ask you for more information about your allegations, the Brazilian Supreme Court had just opened investigation against me because I said in my United Nations speech that Lula is a corrupt. It's crazy what's happening here in Brazil. And in the elections, presidential elections here in Brazil, I was a victim of what is happening here with the accounts that are being blocked. After the Brazilian elections, my account was banned both on X and Instagram and Facebook. To this day, I do not have access to the process, and I do not know why the accounts were banned. That's what's happening here in Brazil.